Hello, everybody, and welcome to World War II Explained. Please subscribe to the channel for regular content on the basis on fact, World War II. September 29th, 1938. Midnight in the Führerbau, Munich's Grand Nazi headquarters. The air is thick with cigar smoke and the sharp tang of tension, like a storm about to break. Adolf Hitler leans forward across the massive oak table, his piercing blue eyes locked on British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain. Chamberlain's hands tremble slightly as he adjusts his spectacles, the weight of a continent pressing on his narrow shoulders. French Premier Édouard Daladier slumps nearby, weary from hours of negotiation, while Italian dictator Benito Mussolini plays the mediator, his bombastic gestures cutting through the haze. No one speaks above a murmur. Outside, the city sleeps under a moonless sky, unaware that here, in this opulent room adorned with swastikas, the map of Europe is being redrawn, not with bullets, but with ink and cowardice. You can almost hear the distant rumble of tanks idling in the Sudetenland, waiting for the word. This wasn't a summit of equals. Hitler had orchestrated it all. For months, he'd inflamed tensions over the Sudetenland, the German-speaking border region of Czechoslovakia. Claiming oppression of ethnic Germans by the Czech government, he demanded annexation. Reports from the ground painted a different picture. Staged incidents by Nazi agents, fabricated tales of atrocities broadcast through Joseph Goebbels' propaganda machine. The Führer ranted in speeches, his voice rising to a fever pitch at Nuremberg rallies, where hundreds of thousands chanted Ein Volk, ein Reich, ein Führer. He warned of war if his demands weren't met, bluffing, or was he, about mobilizing the Wehrmacht's 1.5 million troops. Chamberlain, haunted by the ghosts of the Great War, clung to appeasement. Peace for our time, he'd later proclaim, but in this moment, it's desperation. Flying to Germany twice in September, first to Berchtesgaden, then Godesberg, he begged for compromise. Hitler, sensing weakness, escalated. The Czechs must evacuate the Sudetenland by October 1st, he thundered, or we march. Daladier, France's leader, bound to treaty to defend Czechoslovakia, wavered. Britain and France had mobilized, but their armies were unprepared. France's Maginot Line a static fortress, Britain's RAF still building Spitfires. The Czechs, with a modern army of 35 divisions and strong fortifications, stood ready under President Edvard Beneš, but alone. As the clock ticks past 1 a.m., Mussolini proposes the deal. Germany gets the Sudetenland without a fight. No plebiscite, no Czech input. Beneš isn't even invited. Hitler smirks inwardly. This is his triumph. The agreement, signed at dawn on September 30th, carves up Czechoslovakia like a carcass. German troops roll in unopposed, greeted by cheering Sudeten Germans waving swastika flags. In Prague, crowds weep as radio broadcasts the betrayal. Chamberlain returns to London, waving the paper to adoring throngs at Heston Aerodrome. My good friends, he declares, this is the second time in our history that there has come back from Germany to Downing Street peace with honor. But honor? You can feel the chill of foreboding. Hitler, back in Berlin, confides to aides, I have no more territorial demands in Europe. A lie. This was never about the Sudetenland. It was a stepping stone. Deprived of its defenses, Czechoslovakia lay exposed. Hitler's ambitions stretched far beyond. Lebensraum, living space for the Aryan race as outlined in Mein Kampf. The East called to him, vast Slavic lands to conquer, populations to subjugate or eliminate. Munich emboldened him. Our enemies are little worms, he sneered privately. I saw them at Munich. In the weeks that follow, the illusion crumbles. On October 21st, Hitler orders plans for occupying the rest of Czechoslovakia. Anti-Semitic violence surges. Kristallnacht erupts on November 9th and 10th, shattering glass and lives across the Reich. Synagogues burn. 30,000 Jews arrested. A preview of horrors. Britain and France rearm belatedly, but the damage is done. Polish corridors, Danzig, Hitler's gaze shifts eastward. By March 1939, the axe falls. German troops invade Bohemia and Moravia, the Czech heartland. Beneš flees to exile. Slovakia, under Nazi puppet Josef Tiso, declares independence. Chamberlain, in Parliament, admits the folly. This is no longer a question of the Sudeten Germans. Outrage boils. But Hitler presses on, eyeing Poland. He demands the Polish corridor and Danzig, free city under League of Nations control. Polish Foreign Minister Josef Beck resists. Peace is a precious thing, but honor is priceless. Secretly, he courts the unthinkable ally. On August 23, 1939, the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact shocks the world. Nazi Germany and Soviet Russia, ideological foes, agree to non-aggression, carving up Eastern Europe in secret protocols. Poland is doomed. Hitler tells his generals, "Close your hearts to pity, act brutally." The Wehrmacht, honed by General Heinz Guderian's panzer tactics, prepares blitzkrieg, lightning war with tanks, Stuka dive bombers, and infantry in concert. September 1st, 1939. Dawn over the Polish border. Panzer divisions roar across, the Luftwaffe screaming overhead. Warsaw radios frantic pleas. Britain and France declare war on September 3rd, but it's too late for Poland. In 35 days, it's crushed. Soviets invading from the east on September 17th. Hitler tours the front in his armored train, America, exulting in victory. But his eyes are already on the west. France's humiliation awaits. But beneath the conquests, cracks form. The German economy strains under rearmament. Resources dwindle. Hitler knows, to sustain the Reich, he must strike further. The Soviet Union, with its oil, grain, and minerals, looms as the ultimate prize. But first, secure the flanks. As winter 1939 sets in, the phony war grips Europe, a tense stalemate. Hitler plots in the Berghof, his Bavarian retreat, maps sprawled before him. The time is right, he muses. For what? The plunge into total war, ambitions unchecked. But how far will they take him, and at what cost? May 10th, 1940, 4:30 a.m. along the Luxembourg border. A low, ominous rumble rolls through the misty Ardennes forest as the first columns of Panzer IVs and Stuka dive bombers awaken the dawn. You can almost taste the diesel fumes mixing with pine sap, feel the ground tremble under 1,200 tanks of Army Group A, Gerd von Rundstedt's spearhead, thundering through what the French High Command had dismissed as impenetrable. The Luftwaffe screams overhead, 3,000 aircraft blotting the sky, while below, Erich von Manstein's audacious sickle-cut plan unfolds in real time. This is no repeat of the Schlieffen Plan. This is something sharper, faster, deadlier. Hitler, watching from the Felsen-Nest command post, knows the gamble could make or break the Reich. But the dice are rolling. The phony war had ended abruptly. After Poland's fall in October 1939, the Western Front had settled into eerie quiet, soldiers in dugouts named 10 Downing Street, French troops plowing fields beside German sentries, only occasional artillery duels and U-boat skirmishes at sea. Britain and France waited, rearming slowly, convinced time favored them. Hitler, however, seethed. The Polish victory had been too easy. The West must be crushed before turning east. He had rejected Franz Halder's cautious original Fall Gelb, a broad sweep through Belgium that mirrored 1914, demanding something bolder. Then came the Mechelen incident in January 1940. A Luftwaffe plane crash-landed in Belgium, spilling invasion documents. The Allies readied defenses along the Dill River, exactly where the Germans wanted them to look. Perfect misdirection. Manstein's vision won out. The main thrust, 7 panzer divisions under generals like Heinz Guderian and Ewald von Kleist, would slice through the thinly defended Ardennes, cross the Meuse and race to the Channel. A secondary push through northern Belgium would draw the Allies forward, while Army Group C pinned them against the Maginot Line. Hitler approved the revised plan in February, overriding doubters who feared the narrow forest roads would jam, the tanks would bog down, the French would counterattack. The Ardennes, Pétain had once called it, is not a dangerous sector. How wrong they were. At dawn, the sky erupts. Stukas shriek down, sirens wailing, shattering Belgian and Dutch airfields. Rotterdam's port burns from Luftwaffe bombs. Dutch defenses collapse in hours. Queen Wilhelmina flees to London. In Belgium, King Leopold's forces fight valiantly but are outmatched. The British Expeditionary Force, BEF, and French First Army rush forward to meet the expected main attack, straight into the trap. Meanwhile, in the south, Guderian's 19th Panzer Corps tears through Luxembourg and into the Ardennes like a knife through silk. Roads clogged with refugees slow them briefly, but the panzers push on, engines roaring, dust choking the air. By May 12th, the Meuse crossings begin. At Sedan, Guderian's men force a bridgehead under murderous fire. French artillery pounds the river, but German Stukas and artillery suppress them. Rommel's 7th Panzer Division, soon to earn its Ghost Division nickname, crosses at Dinant, outflanking defenders. The breakthrough is complete. French High Command, still fixated on the north, barely registers the disaster. Communications lag, orders contradict. Panic spreads in Paris. May 15. Guderian's panzers break out. They cover 40 miles in a day, slicing toward the Channel coast. The Allies' northern armies, 40 divisions including the BEF, are suddenly cut off. Von Kleist's panzers link up, forming a narrow corridor. The trap snaps shut. Churchill, newly Prime Minister, cables Renault, "We are in the greatest danger." Renault replies, "We have been defeated." The pocket forms. Around 400,000 Allied troops, British, French, and Belgian, are pressed against the sea near Dunkirk. The BEF commander, Lord Gort, orders withdrawal. Rearguards fight desperate delaying actions at Boulogne and Calais. On May 24th, Hitler issues the infamous halt order. Panzer advance stopped for 3 crucial days. Goering promises the Luftwaffe will finish the job from the air. Rundstedt wants to conserve tanks for the push south. The pause is controversial. Some say terrain was too marshy, others claim overconfidence, but it gives the Allies breathing room. Operation Dynamo begins May 26th. The miracle unfolds. Over 800 vessels, Royal Navy destroyers, fishing trawlers, pleasure yachts, even Thames riverboats cross the channel under constant Stuka attack. RAF Spitfires and Hurricanes battle Messerschmitts overhead, buying precious hours. Beaches black with soldiers, lines snaking into the surf. You can picture the chaos, men wading chest deep, oil-slicked water, burning oil tanks belching black smoke, the roar of engines and explosions. French troops hold the perimeter, sacrificing themselves to cover the retreat. By June 4th, over 338,000 men are evacuated, 198,000 British, the rest French and Belgian. Equipment is abandoned, tanks, guns, vehicles, but the core of the BEF survives to fight another day. Hitler resumes the advance. Paris falls June 14. Renault resigns. Pétain sues for armistice. On June 22nd, in the same railcar at Compiègne where Germany surrendered in 1918, France signs terms. The Third Republic is dead. Hitler dances a little jig of triumph at the signing. The West is conquered in 6 weeks. Hitler's ambitions seem unstoppable. Norway had fallen in April, securing iron ore routes. Now France is broken, Britain isolated. The Führer stands atop the Eiffel Tower, gazing across a continent bending to his will. But the Channel remains, and across it, a defiant island prepares. Yet the cost is hidden in the speed. The Wehrmacht is stretched, logistics strained. The halt at Dunkirk, perhaps Hitler's first major mistake, allows Britain to survive. The war, far from over, has only begun to reveal its true scale.